trying to do good, but not doing good.
Okay.
We're trying to do good, but not doing good. Here's some activity that will help virtue become second nature to you. Read and meditate on scriptures that talks about virtue. Read and meditate on scripture that talk about virtue, because we're trying to do good, but we're not doing good. Why? Because we're not reading scripture that will give us the virtue that we need, which is patience, which is love, which is kindness, which is meekness, which is goodness, which is temperance. And this is the issue that we're missing. And so when we get in our relationship, we're trying to create and form these things that are not there. And so we're putting on a facade of trying to be something that is not who we are. And so it makes it more, what would I want to use? The struggle is real, put it that way. It makes it more harder to function in that capacity that you're not used to functioning in. Because why? The flesh are usually doing whatever it want to do, and now we're trying to bring the flesh up under congestion, and so that we're having issues with doing that. And why did that take place? Because we're not reading, we're not meditating on the scriptures that teaches us about being virtue.
So again, I said, it's not a topic or a subject or a conversation that we have. It's not something we share. We don't go to our churches or our women's meetings or our men meetings and talk about virtue or talk about patience. It's not shared in the homes. It's not a generational thing to where we talk about virtue. So how do we begin to introduce that into the generations to come so that they will understand what virtue means, the importance of patience,
That's it.
or having patience
That's it.
without having to have a crash course.
That's it.
What does our song say? I love you and you love me.
Come on now.
But what about when the heated fellowship comes? What about when you raise your voice or say something I don't like, or I don't move as fast as you want me to, and I don't have patience? You don't have patience to wait until I get a thing done. Where's the virtue then? How do we reinstall that? How do we bring that back when we've gotten that far? What do we do? And as you say, as we know that we may not be reading every day. How do we start reading? Where do we start reading? How do we start to input that into our relationship? Because we know when we're dating, we're just trying to get to know one another. And is there a way to bring this into our relationships while we're dating to help teach one another patience without actually running into an issue? Or trying to avoid heated fellowships, as we call it.
That's it. That's it.
So
right
that's a job all by itself.
Patience is a virtue. Titus 2:11-12 say, "For the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people. It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passion, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age." So that means we have no excuse for doing what we're doing. Now, sometimes, my brothers and sisters, it seems that the world at large suffer from a lack of clear moral standards. In the midst of all the noise, it can be hard to find the right compass to guide our decision and our action. But God has given, Dr. Walker, people grace to live with virtue in every age, including our own. Oh, my brother and sister, ain't no excuse now. He covered every base. Watch this now. Through many association virtues with specific traits like purity and kindness. It is actually meant to be more. Being virtuous is really an overall approach to life that brings a level of excellence to all we do and say. I'll read it to you again. Being virtuous is really an overall approach to life that brings a level of excellence to all we do and say. God called us to pursue it because he knows how impactful we can be in our relationship and ministries if we have patience and virtue.
And in our relationships.
He knows it. He knows it. And I say it again, virtue a particular moral excellence, a beneficial quality or power or thing, strength or courage, a commendable quality or trait, a capacity to act.